Well, that was interesting. It kind of got to the end of the timer before I planned it. Hey everyone. Hello, Philip Carroll, and whoever else is out there. Philip Carroll says, phase changing at the end of the workday. Nice. Yeah. Well, I had to go to the shop, so that took a few hours to drive there. Well, a couple hours, and then I loaded up with tools for my next job. I just got back. It's 3 p.m. where I live right now, so got about an hour and a half before I gotta go pick up my daughter. Figured I could squeeze in a quick little stream. I've done the wet application. Ooh, let's zoom in. I've done the wet application on the CPU yesterday, and we were running it for about 22 hours or so. I just turned it off to get the card out. I've left the CPU and the cooler, that's all going to stay mounted up for now. I'm probably going to run it like that for a little bit more. And I want to see what the data shows. But yeah, let's do this GPU. Code String, hey guy, how's it going? Good to see you guys in chat. Are you guys getting bored of this music? I think you must be. I am. I need to, I probably need to spend some time finding some new tunes, I think. Just to, freshen things up a little bit. Sometimes it can be hard to find the time and energy to do that, though. But, I will get around to it for sure. And we'll get some better, not better, but different music going at some point. But not today. Da Flip Flop, welcome to the stream. Catching 2 live streams in a row. No, yeah, you did. You were here yesterday. That's a new world record for you as an individual. So, what do we got here? This is, we're taking apart cured PTM7958. So on this application, I'd applied it, spread it, let it dry overnight, flash off any solvents, and then we ran that, and now we're doing the wet test. So I expect it to be a little bit sticky and kind of hold the core a little bit. So it takes a little bit of force to pop it off. But what we're left with is decent spread. Do you guys notice on the cooler, in the bottom left corner, it's like a... Oh, did I just do something with the music there? Must have been the end of the song. There's just that little area that's like a little bit light in coverage, but what I'm noticing is on the core itself, you can see it's a little bit darker there, whereas it's light everywhere else. So I'd still call this a good mount and application. Yeah, it didn't have pressure issues at all. But if you guys didn't know yet, I'm starting to get frustrated with paste and core testing, because I don't think that my testing of core applications is precise enough yet to give us meaningful data. And by that I mean I think my results are plus or minus half a degree Celsius for the core stuff. And because there's only a spread of like a degree and a half to 2 degrees across all the products I've tested so far, it's really hard to tell like what's going on and what's what. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking about right now, and how I'm gonna have to do something to make the testing better. I think at least with putties we've got the 35 degree span between the best and the worst putties, so it's a little bit easier to see the relative performance differences. But yeah, pretty much just have some thermal paste or have some phase change on there and you should be good. I will test it more for sure. I'm thinking of ways I could make it more accurate. One would be to have the test bench in a room that's not my basement, that has maybe better, more consistent like temperature. There's a decent temperature swing within my basement based on what the temperature is outside. I am accounting for ambient, but I'm still finding that if there's a difference in ambient temperature of 3 or 4 degrees, it is sometimes affecting the tests. More so on the core testing side than the VRAM. The VRAM, the biggest bottleneck is that 2mm pad being the 1.8mm gap. So it's a bit more forgiving because that's the main bottleneck. But when it's metal to metal, or silicon to metal, I should say, the gap is so small, so we're barely able to test the effectiveness of products, I find. So pretty much just go with what you want to go with, and you'll probably be all right. But again, I'll still get back to testing that stuff at some point. I guess we're doing one of those today. Code string, you immediately associate my channel with these tracks. That's a good point. I feel like I should add more songs at the very least. Maybe the music's okay, just as like it is in the background, so. I always think the core is dirty with dust, but it's not. It just has little tiny scratch marks from the dozens of teardowns that we've done and cleaning. Philip Curl says, then use Snap Downloader or similar software to rip all the audio in one shot. That's how I do it. Snap Downloader. All royalty-free music. Oh, where's the royalty-free music? So this stuff is, I'm currently using music from licked.com, and I pay a monthly, it was like $15 Canadian. That's like, what, $12, $11 or $12 US a month. And they've got a decent sized library. And so that's what I've been using for a little while now. But I could definitely change that up at some point. We're going to reshape the TGPP10 before we go any further. Just so I don't forget, I want the liquid PTM application to be the last thing I do before I assemble it. I want to, this stuff flashes off quickly, so even 10-15 minutes you'll find the viscosity of the syringe type changes if it's just sitting there. So we're gonna try it, keep it as wet as possible before we reassemble it. Who knows, if I do the stream fast enough, I might be able to go spread some democracy really quick. If you guys don't know what that means, I've been playing Helldivers 2 a lot in the last few weeks, and I'm really enjoying it. Also play some other games too with some friends, like Fortnite Zero Build. It's been pretty good. Got a good buddy I've been playing with for years. Different games. Mostly, we used to play DayZ a lot. Like maybe, I don't know, over 1,000 hours worth together. Ark Survival Evolved, we played some of that. Trying to think of what else. A little bit of everything, I guess. Okay, I think that is pretty good for the putty reshaping. If you change, Philip Carroll says, if you change the die size or temp per square millimeter, it would reorder most of your thermal pastes. That's where I got my automated temp testing, and I basically gave up. Yeah, it's like, and then the flip-flop says torque screwdriver maybe, but those are quite expensive. I have a torque screwdriver for mounting optics on firearms. That should be sensitive enough to do consistent torquing, I suppose. With CPU cooler, like the Noctua, I just go until the screws stop, and I do the same with this. So it is pretty consistent, at least with the spring screws. I don't crank these other screws down too much. But yeah, and I think if I tested direct die stuff more than an IHS, maybe there'd be some improved spread there. I just don't think we're ever going to get a larger spread than a few degrees, so it's going to remain difficult to differentiate the performance of the products especially considering all the other variables that come into play that affect the performance. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe that off. Make sure it's dry though. We don't want any isopropyl to yeah, okay, it's dry. Okay, so we're gonna spread it. We'll put a little dab in the middle, and then we'll slap this baby back together. Oh, Philip Carroll, I noticed on your Zotac, I think it's a 3080 that you've got, the Trinity, they don't have this this pad here. It's just like a little a spacer, like a little rubber or plastic block or whatever. Okay, we got it, and it's still malleable, so let's get this thing back together here. Maybe I'll zoom out while I'm doing this. Alright. Here it goes, nothing. Cloudyak, welcome to the stream. You almost missed the reassembly moment. There's 5 of you watching right now, so 5 of you get to see this. And the rest will have to just watch it later. Alright. Let's get these screws back in. I've thought of doing several different tests with pastes. I was thinking of making it doing one where I just see how compressible they are, and like basically trying to measure the minimum bond line thickness, which should change under temperature for phase changes, so I'd have to find a way of like heating it up, maybe even some pastes. That'd be one test I could do. And there's another test I was thinking, making testing something with like a larger, like forcing the gap to be, let's say, like consistently 1 millimeter. And that would be a way of testing the effectiveness of the material itself, but not necessarily the real world end performance. Because obviously the thinner something becomes, the better it's going to be when it's a paste. But I think if we had a combination of that plus the compression stuff, I don't know. Be interesting if I could do that. For phase changes too, but 1 millimeter maybe be a bit too thick. Maybe I'd have to do it, I don't know, maybe 0.15 of a millimeter. That's why I trust my putty testing more, because the gap is consistently around that 1.8 millimeters, which is a much larger span. So then, you know, the worse a material is, filling that gap and transferring heat, then that kind of shows up in the results, which gives us our 35-degree span, as opposed to, yeah, 1.5 degrees or 2. Nice. It's nice when it works out where they're all within a quarter turn at the very end. Makes me feel confident in the mounting of it. And my hands look orange. I need to change the color filters a little bit. I think I was cranking them up previously because I was trying to show the difference in the pink colors of the different pink putties. I think I went a little too far on the saturation though, so it's very like vivid color. Yeah, that's the card back together. If you guys bear with me just for a moment, I'm going to put this thing on the on the test bench and just get it started up. I should probably wipe the PCI Express connector though really quick, just to be sure. I ordered one of those little containers on Amazon to for dunking Q-tips into, so I should have that pretty soon. That'll be a nice addition to the toolkit. A thumb screw almost got away on me here. That wouldn't have been much fun. So yesterday when I was going through the data from the cured applications, I noticed that the ambient temperature on the GPU log was did something wonky at an hour into it, and I just remembered that was from me not moving the ambient temperature sensors back onto the card for the first hour, and then I noticed it, put them back on. So the data from the 6th hour was still good. It's just that yeah, I made the mistake in not putting them in place right away. Still got to find a way to like 3D print some little brackets, I think. But let's get this computer turned on. I gotta move my stuff around here. So I don't have a whole lot of PTM7958 left. There's barely any left in this syringe. So when I get back to testing again, I'm gonna have to buy more of it, which is kind of frustrating, but that's how it goes. Retesting, it's expensive, but probably necessary. Okay, I'm just gonna get this test going here, and then we will go over the data. So I'm gonna start up HW info, sensors only, MSI afterburner. Set that to 85% fan. Overclock profile. Just gotta start the log here. 758 per syringe. Okay. Start that crunching away. Alright, that is cranking away on the test. I'm probably going to have to install Windows 10 Pro. I made the mistake of installing Windows 10 Home on the test bench, so I can't remote desktop into it. But let's go to display capture here. That's the log for mining on the CPU web application, and I just got to open up the standard calculator sheet. Testbench 2.0 CPU tests. I should probably delete some of the data from the standard calc sheet just to make it load faster. Okay, so we are going to What are we doing here? We're going to go here, copy this, data. You know me, I always like to have these color coded for some reason. Okay, now we'll get one of these. Control C, escape, click, Control A, Control F. Replace with data. There we go. I'm just gonna change. That's not how you spell paste at all. Okay, and then we're going to open up the, let's see, the CPU chart. Did I mess that up yesterday? I feel like I did. That's not, I don't think I've, ooh, that's too many letters. What am I doing here? 7958. Cured. And we're gonna make another one. Oh, I'm doing this on the wrong sheet. My bad. Okay. Fresh. Cured. Sorry, fresh wet. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna, let's look at the data here before I figure out what I'm gonna do with it. So here's actual temps. There was a gradual trend down, kind of looks like on actual, but calculating for ambient, it almost looks like there's just the slightest improvement. Let's take a look at the data columns over here. So the delta from hour 2, where did we start the hot? It was there. So if I take these, we got an average of 43.3. Go hot, we'll skip an hour. 42.9. So there was like a 0.4 degrees Celsius improvement from before and after the hot burn. That's where I take it up to, well, basically it was like 93 degrees there. Here's an interesting thing. It's just, but here's all the different cores. So it's core 0 to core 11. There's 12 cores total. I decided to call them the same thing that Windows calls them. And I'd have to look, but I think these warmer cores are consistently warmer, and these cooler ones are consistently cooler throughout all the tests. This is calculating, this column here calculates an average of all of these. So you can see the average here is 38.7, 38.7. And then I'm using the CPU T-die temperature for testing purposes. And I spit out the delta there. So this column shows us the difference between this delta and this delta. And I'm expecting it's always going to be a little bit off when we do the hot burn, but generally there's a difference, a pretty consistent difference of that 4 to 4.2 degrees Celsius, depending on the temperatures. It's all about Lotus 123, bro. Wait, what's Lotus 123? I don't know what Lotus is. Like the lotus flower from Avatar? So we are going to take data from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm probably going to take data from hour number 12, since there was a slight improvement. Let's see, ambient temperature. It's pretty typical for what I'm experiencing in my basement at my desk. But we are going to take hour 12. So I don't think I have these in the right order just to copy and paste. So I'm going to do equals. Ooh, I think I even have them in the wrong order. Yeah, I need to fix that for sure. CPU temp. The average. Oh, sorry. That's not the right thing. Average core clock. Did I get that right? E15. Yeah, I did. Okay. Watts. Ambient. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna, it shouldn't be 43. What I should be doing is skipping the hour after the hot hour so it can cool down, and then taking as much data as I can and getting, well, yeah, it's basically still 43. Okay, let's take this data and paste values over here. So, okay. You know, I think from this, I think I'd say curing it is better than not curing it. That's my gut instinct there. It still worked fine, but that is the largest delta out of any of them. Oh, that's old school Excel? Crazy. I don't remember that. I remember using like WordPerfect and whatever the other one was. I've also used like Open Excel. I've used Google Sheets before. It was back in the 8088 days. I remember the 8088 computer electronics class in grade 9. There was the teacher, and he was kind of a bit of a computer geek too, which was cool. He let us play Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike 1.1. Yeah, he's retired now, so he won't get in trouble or anything, I'm sure. But load up, return to Croz, then track my comic books in Lotus 123. No thermal paste or putty required. Nice. Yeah, let's move these into the sheet here, because I didn't do that yesterday. We're gonna just call this. Guess we could put it anywhere in here. My gut says put it up at the top of the 42. I don't know. I guess I could go to further decimal points, and maybe ooh, let's do that. Oh, I can't. That's just... Oh yeah, it is. Sorry. Let's format cells. See if I've got these things in the right order now. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna put this one. My testing is not this accurate, so this is almost a pointless endeavor for me going to 2 decimal points. But here we are. This is what we're doing right now. Did I get the rest of them in the right order? Oh, those ones are like Cryo Sheet and PCM1. Yeah. Again, my testing's not this accurate, so we're going to remove and go back to a single decimal point. And I'd still say even my testing is not that accurate. I think it's accurate maybe to plus or minus 0.5 if I'm being generous. And there's a few things I can do about that. Oh, I hope I don't mispronounce your name, and I'm really sorry if I do. Yeah, Yagiz? I don't, how do you pronounce that? Dolgan. Mr. Dolgan, or Mr. or Mrs. Dolgan, whoever you may be. Hi, Snark. Hello to you too, my friend. Hello. The good old CS days when the M4A1 had a scope. Yeah, I vaguely remember that too. But and M4A1 was my go-to. I had this like crazy way of like clicking on the mouse at the perfect intervals to accommodate for it was low recoil, right? It wasn't like the AK where you would like aim center of mass and then the second shot would always be a headshot. But Yanko, you can call me Yanko as all my foreign friends do. Well, hello Yanko, welcome to the stream. We just processed some test data. For some reason I feel like I still messed this up here. Yeah, this is the wet. There we go. Wet, cured. The first one that I did was the seems too dry. And after I looked at the data, I should probably test this one again. I don't have enough to test it, but it was actually, there was some pretty significant temperature changes within the basement that day due to some localized power outages. So I turned a bunch of stuff off. I was burning a lot less watts in my basement, so it was just cooler. And although that's weird because that's still showing 26.5. Maybe it was just like a good batch that didn't have as much solvent left in the syringe. The frustrations of testing pastes. Look at this. Average 41.9. What's min max? So we got, well, min, sorry, it's 40.8. Max 43. So we have a total span of 2.2 degrees. And this one is questionably low. I would still put this in the 41.3 mark. We're going to retest that at a normal, like the 25 to 26 degree temperature, not the 21.9, because it was cool that day. Again, I'm accounting for ambient, but it still changes the way, like look, this one's burning 149.5 watts. And most of these other ones are 150 plus. This one was also tested kind of lower wattage. Yeah, I can't make this perfect testing, unfortunately. The flip-flop, it was busted. Guess why they decided to remove it at the later betas? Oh, the M4A1 with the scope. I remember getting different skin packs for the weapons and then also different custom sounds. And even though it didn't change the performance of the gun in game, I found like ones that I really liked, and for some reason it had a psychological effect and it made me better than I might have otherwise been. I don't know. Good times. Guys, let's see, what time is it? It's only 3:39. Wow, this is a really short test. What are we gonna do next? I think that might be it for this stream. Unless you guys have any questions or comments. I will post this one today. Yeah, I love those mods. Dude, is there still... I don't assume... I'm pretty sure CS2 wouldn't have... You wouldn't be able to use your own, like, gun skin mods and noises and stuff. Because that would kind of ruin the whole point of people buying different skins on the store. So I assume that's no longer a thing. back in the day, we had the freedom to make the games fun for ourselves. Let's see if that is... Ooh, it's hard to see that yellow on white, eh? Fresh syringe. I'm gonna say cured. Philip Carroll says, did you get any cold one in stock? I do. And you know what? I definitely need to... Yeah, I gotta test that, because, like, I'm not expecting my testing to show great differences in results, but I'll definitely do you a solid, because, like, you were pivotal in me getting some of that to test, so I should at least do some of that testing before I... I'll still work on improving my testing, but... let's see, oh shoot, how do I pronounce that again? Yeah, let's see here. Yanko, there we go. Yanko says, do you still have 6800 XT? I do. Let me see. Not that one. I'm just gonna log into the rig here. Okay, it's hard for me to say how much of an improvement or not improvement me doing the 6800 I did the other day on stream, how effective that was. It was, I would say, at least 2 degrees improvement on the core, but the paste was a bit dried. And it was the stock paste, so it did see some improvement, and it's certainly no worse, but because the temperature within, like, the room where I've got that card running, it fluctuates directly with the ambient temperature outside, so I'm hesitant to, like, spit out numbers and say, like, oh, it's, you know, it was this. Okay, well, it was 81 degrees Celsius. Currently, it's running at 76 degrees Celsius. It's literally sandwiched between, and you guys are going to hate this, but 2 other cards that are mining. There's only a 1/4 inch of air gap between the 2 cards, like the back plate and the where the fans are drawing in on that card. So it's in a bad spot, but it's still running cooler than it was, which, yeah, I usually don't talk about mining because I know it's kind of a sensitive topic. But yeah, I mostly use my 6800s and 6800 XT for mining. The flip-flop, any news on Upsiren and Computer Systems GR? Yes, there is. Just one moment, I'm going to read these other comments. That stuff is only top tier at above 250 watts. Oh, the Cold O1. But that's, yeah, and that's definitely where you want it to be top tier, right? So I think you've got a good point there. And I have to keep going back to look at how to pronounce your name. It's Yanko. There we go. Yanko. Do I mainly use it for mining? Yes. Whereas my 3090 is really just gaming at this point. Occasionally I'll throw it on a coin while I'm not gaming, but mostly it just plays games. Okay, the news is, let's check this out. I'm glad that you guys asked about news from Upsiren and CSGR. So we are going to go to, we're just going to go to Amazon.com, I think. And we are going to type in UX Pro. Okay, well that actually looks like the real one. So that's correct. Based on the price alone, that's the real one. Okay, just give me a moment. I've got to bring up Amazon.ca, and then I've got a Amazon.ca for Canada. And I'm just going to change the... Ooh, this is where I gotta figure out something really quick. What is the postal code there? T2G5E1. That's what we're going to say. T2G5E1. This is not where I live. This is a different place. I am artificially setting my my postal code so as to protect myself, because for some reason on Amazon.ca it shows a postal code. I just typed this in, so that's what that is. I'm not logged in, obviously. So on the Amazon Canada site, if we type in UX Pro, look what comes up. Something a little bit different. You know, it's funny, they we'll get into this in a second, but it's funny that they put a little paste spreader at this angle, and I'll show you why. Because this is an original box. I'm going to show you in a second here. Oh, I was on the wrong screen. See this, guys? This is an upsiren box where the putty would go down right here. You know, here's an example. This is not the putty that was in here. And then there was like a thing for the paste spreader to sit in. A nice little cutout. And so because of that, CSGR has now gone and well, they did what they promised. They were also going to release a UX Pro. As far as I know, this popped up probably in the last few weeks. Hard to say exactly when. What are the differences? Well, CSGR, the brand is Computer Systems Repair Services Data Recovery, and there's no word upsiren, right? They've I don't know. I take this as an admission that they're acknowledging that they don't have the right to use the word upsiren. Now, they're still using upsiren name in Europe, but this is what the box looks like. So they've, you know, it's very similar looking box to the upsiren one, without the word upsiren on it, without the upsiren. Oh, that's interesting. Look at this. You guys see that? U6 Pro, eh? Right up there. Oh, like you can see. Anyways, which it's not U6 Pro, obviously, because it does look like it's a gray putty. And it looks like they changed the viscosity too. Okay, so I was sent some pictures from by a few people on Reddit that it direct messaged me with pictures of what CSGR sent them. They were looking to buy U6 Pro several months ago. It was like September or October, something like that. And then they got in contact with CSGR and they were like, hey, if you want, we'll send you UX Pro. And so then they ended up getting that sent to them. And the pictures I was sent looked a lot more like a viscous paste. It was like more shiny, and this stuff actually looks like it might be like they might have actually taken my advice and increased the viscosity by adding something. So I'm gonna have to test some, annoyingly enough. Now, price wise, guys, 20 grams, okay, for 70 Canadian dollars plus basically $20 shipping. So $90 Canadian. No, sorry, am I doing that right? Yeah, $90 Canadian for 20 grams. So that's $4.25 per gram. And it would get delivered April 10th to May 1st. So the fastest would be, see, it's the 18th. So 12, 24. It's about 3 weeks. Okay, so if you wanted to go ahead and buy some Computer Systems GR UX Pro Ultra, not upsiren, if you wanted to get 20 grams for 90 Canadian dollars and it'd be delivered in 3 weeks. Let's go look at what this one is. So if you buy 50 grams, you're looking at $144 Canadian. So a little bit less than $3 per gram, and the same 3-week shipping. So I'm gonna have to buy some for testing, because I have no idea. Maybe it's really high performing, who knows. Do I agree with the practice of using UX Pro as the name? No, obviously I don't. Just like I don't agree with what Upsiren did initially, what was putting the CSGR website on the side of the box. Even though the sticker on the container said made in China, you know, I think it was probably a marketing thing. They've since removed that, which is great. And it just sucks that that kind of started this whole process of this back and forth. But here's where we're at. So you can get 50 grams of CSGR for basically 144, or you can go to, and we'll test it because we need to figure out if it's good or not. AliExpress. Ooh, pop-ups are annoying. So if we go UX Pro, it's going to pop up with all sorts of stuff here. Yeah. So 50 grams for $38. Shipping is for, let's just call it what, 42? Is that right? $43 for 50 grams. That's actually a picture of my my laptop. If you guys didn't, no, I gave them permission. I was like, hey, you can take snippets and stuff from my videos. I don't mind. But yeah, I personally, just on a cost basis, let's assume, which we don't know yet, let's assume that if this was similar performance to UX Pro and you were wondering which one to buy, $144 versus $42. So this is a third of the price. We know how well this performs. I will test the other one because we should find that out. But what's the store on here, eh? Oh yeah, that is actually the middle 99 store. There's other stores too with different prices for UX Pro, but pretty crazy, guys. It is ridiculous. Let's do something else. European Trademark Registry. Oh, that's not the right one. It's YUPO. Sorry. There's another one. I think it's like a searching service. There are also so many sellers of CXH1300. There definitely are. Yeah. Guys, I've bought CXH1300 from, I think, 4 different stores now. And on AliExpress. I've also bought one. Ooh. Let's put Upsiren. Trademarks. U6 Pro. Okay, so this one is an application which hasn't been approved yet. Or has it been? Where's the filing date? Yeah. This is for Europe, not the US. Application opposed. Okay, so it's still opposed because CSGR popped in there first in Europe. Whereas you guys, I'm sure, have watched the video where I showed the difference, but yeah, pretty crazy. I was just gonna see if there was like progress on this or not, but it looks like it's probably at a standstill from this showing up still. This is the AliExpress seller remanufacturer, whatever you want to call it, trying to combat this whole scenario. So yeah, it says opposed. Now if we go to the USA Trademark Registry, it'll be USPTO. And trademark search system. If we go, which is kind of weird that CSGR is removing the word upsiren from the Canadian listed ads. So this is the first one, right? They filed December 28th. This is the upsiren from China, applied December 28th, 2020. This is before the release of any thermal putties by Upsiren. They were, at this point, right, if you look, goods and services. So they're building a brand. It's not a product. Computer peripherals. It's basically just like a catch-all. And some people would be like, well, it doesn't say thermal putty. You're right. They were literally putting a trademark on the word Upsiren. Anyways, so CSGR doesn't have trademark as far as I know in the US. Yeah, so Shenzhen, right? Anyways, that's kind of where the news in putty is right now. So scary chicken. Let's see, I'm gonna catch up on the comments here. If I'm gonna pay $90 for it, it should make my VRM sub-zero. Well, I was talking to someone that's doing water cooling, and they were saying like they do some pretty good overclocking, I guess, of their RAM, and they were saying that 60 degrees was like an ideal temperature, and they didn't want it to go below that. And Philip Carroll, that is a very good point. $25 for 210 grams of CXH 1300, the 13.5 watt stuff. So like there's some great deals out there. And yeah, like I've actually, I think it was yesterday, I bought a bunch more CXH 1300 and UTP-8 and a few other things. But you know, some people are going to care about the dollars per gram, and other people are going to just get like what's considered the best no matter what. And then other people are, for some reason, are still spending a ton of money buying really crappy stuff, unfortunately. Oh, you've got all from, the 3D Lightning Store. That's the one they're using. That's cool. It's good to know. I think I bought something from there. Daniel M, welcome to the stream, buddy. The flip-flop says, I got mine from a store named Kitech. Yeah, as long as it says 13.5 watt on the jar, and it's checkmarked next to that box, that's all we can kind of go off of. I would be, just monitor your temperatures, and if it seems really off and you're confident that you did a good application, maybe they put a check mark in the wrong box. I don't know. Yeah, to flip-flop, I would suppose all CXH300 is made in Hong Kong, and they honor what actually says on the jar. Yeah, my gut says as long as you get the jar that has the checkbox next to the 13.5 watt, it's probably going to be 13.5 watt. I feel pretty safe ordering 13.5 watt from really any of the stores. Have you guys noticed, like, when a new product comes out, case in point, UTP-8, right? If I go, like, the day that it got released, I searched for it, and there was already, like, 6 or 7 different ads, right? So Middle 99, Thermal Right Store, Upsiren, UI Cooler. I haven't ordered from there before. I've ordered from different, putties from lots of different stores though. Even Thermal Right is selling it. Is this actually Thermal Right? I don't know. I don't know. I assume it is. But I can't say for sure. Who knows? But yeah, if you're looking for Upsiren products, they're going to have this little symbol up here, and they're going to say Upsiren, but that's not always true. You know, if you go to Computer Systems GR website, which we're going to go to right now. Yeah, if your temps are good, it's 13.5 watt. If your temps are bad, it might be 8 watt. Or check your application. But yeah, so now they're calling, they've got UX Pro. Let's see here. So they're using the word upsiren still on their website, but that's because they've got trademark in Europe, so they're allowed to. This is a European-based company. Actually just had someone message me yesterday, I think, and they went into the local store and they bought, because they were supporting a local business. They bought the upsiren U6 Pro. I don't know how much they bought, but and they put it in their system, and then they had bad temperatures and they were like wondering what the heck's going on, and then they found my videos, and yeah, now they're buying something else. So lots of crazy stuff in the very competitive thermal putty world that's expanding at this point. Daniel M. So if I cool my VRAM with liquid nitrogen to better buy K5 Pro to keep it above 60 Celsius. I mean, yeah, you'd have to play around with... Now, do you liquid nitrogen cool just the core, or is it also the VRAM? I'm sure it would get pretty cold. You almost might want to just put... I don't know. Would you want to insulate it and put like foam pads to keep it warmer? Hard to say. But guys, I think that's it for today's stream. We kind of covered a bunch, right? We did a wet application. Let's see what the temperatures are at here. GPU core temperature, I'm averaging, it's only been running for 38 minutes, but it's averaging 69 degrees Celsius, and the ambient is averaging 28.8, so 69. Let's just run some quick numbers here. 69 minus 28.8, 40.2 degrees. And what were we at? Charts, GPU core, Furmark. Okay, February 20th. Here we go. Can I make that smaller? Oh, sorry guys. I'm trying to make this smaller so we can see. .2. So right now, and I wouldn't consider this a final result, obviously, but the wet application, it's not looking too great. But what I did notice is that the cured version improved. Let's see. Oh, I don't have the result in this one, unfortunately. That sucks. But it did improve from a 92 hot burn, so I'll have to, yeah, we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. I should be able to take them apart. You know what? That's the plan, guys. We're going to process the data tomorrow on the GPU, and we are going to do some cold 01. Thanks to Mr. Philip Carroll, who suggested purchasing it. We're going to test it both on the CPU and GPU tomorrow. So stay tuned for that happening. Daniel M, it's the core, but the rest gets cool too. Yeah. Actually, we can blame upsiren for this mess. I would agree. Yeah. If they didn't put the CSGR link on their box to begin with, that's the part that sucks, right? Like that shouldn't have been the case. I'm not gonna make excuses for that for them, so I'm glad that they took it off the box as soon as I asked about it. That should have been the first thing that I noticed, and unfortunately it wasn't. I was still pretty clueless about putties and what was going on in the background at that time. But you guys have a good night, good day, and maybe I'll see you guys on Helldivers 2. My name is Snark on there. I will eventually get a few of you guys connected on Steam and we can play. I've also got a Discord coming soon, so anyways, you guys have a good night and I will see you tomorrow.